video I made earlier, I explained why the cabal of criminals who are in charge of our society, why they promoted occultism and Satanism, and why they hate religion. It's not because they want you enlightened. It's not because God's not real. It's because faith in things besides them and their money and getting it from them is a threat to them. Faith in something other than them is as much a threat to them as religion used to be a threat to merchants. Like, basically, the people in power are global bankers and merchants who hold capital, and they are behind all the revolutions in the world to topple monarchies closely associated with religious belief. And they're in their final form now, where they're making a society even worse than feudal systems, where they view themselves as slave owners of all humanity and they hate humanity. And their number one issue with religion isn't that it's wrong, isn't that God isn't real, isn't even the abuses that are done in the name of religion. It is that it is a threat. If you believe in something other than this life, and you believe in something other than their power and money, you will not obey them, right? They are afraid of religion the same way a king is afraid to stop believing in religion. They're afraid of religion the way kings, the kings of the Tsar of Russia was afraid of the communist revolution, and the highest priests next to the king were trying to dissuade the people uh, to Orthodox Christianity and faith in the Tsar, right? These people are the opposite, and they're terrified of religion. Not because they want you enlightened, not because it's wrong, not because it's made up, and not because abuse is done in the name of religion. It's because it can't control you. If you believe in more than fucking getting a wad of cash in your mouth, if you believe in more than that, then they cannot control you, right? And that's exactly why they the billionaire kings, globalist billionaire capital holding kings, the closest thing to the priest class in this society would be the intelligence community. Their job is to control minds, control people, so they stay under control of capital holders, right? And that's very much like in a feudal system. You have the czar, the monarch, the emperor, and then you have the priest class. Their job is to create the heart and soul of society where you agree with this. And that's exactly what the intelligence community does for billionaires, right? And they invented Satanism. I don't know what you want to call it, occultism, worshiping yourself. They invented that. So, one, antisocial selfishness now occupies the religious module in your brain. Most humans are equipped to be programmed with some kind of social faith. Most, right? And it makes it much easier for you to do your actions if that notch in your brain where religion is supposed to be is compatible with your actions, right? So if you program your celebrities, your musicians, your politicians into a cult of selfishness and antisocial acts being good actually, then they will do these acts even better than if they didn't have, if their acts were incongruent with their religious training. Right, so that's exactly why they shut off religions, and they created this weird spiritual practice for being a sociopath is actually holy and spiritually and high and sophisticated. So they're already antisocial leaning personalities are now uplifted. The notch in their brain, the ice cream scoop, where some kind of faith spirituality should be, is now occupied with this crap the CIA made up. Right, that's exactly why this became en vogue amongst our leaders. Guarantee what happened in the last 50 years. And if you go back to like 1900, like none of these people were into that. But I know it happened shortly after the CIA was invented, and they were researching how to make cults. And that's probably when they started doing the psyops on all these morons, and they actually believe in it, right? On the bottom of society, they also want to attack religion. They know they can't introduce to them something like Satanism. because of the fact the utility of the Satanist religion for the higher orbiters is the cult of specialness, being a sociopath, right? So it makes them feel special. And if something is presented to the masses, they can't really feel exactly exclusive and special. But they're promoting fascist psychologies to the bottom. You're so oppressed, no one's had as hard as you need justice, and a good elite is helping you get justice on the people secretly harming you. And at no point in this person's delusion do they want to help, or do they really think they're going to like sacrifice or work or give back. They just have this pile, I'm owed shit kind of perspective now. And the more they attack these other people, the more gratified, and they replace harm, they replace pro-social good with being harmful. So when they're killing the scapegoats, they feel like they're doing good social work, right? And so it kind of this fascist cult-like religion comes to take on a healthy religion, and it's oriented around being a parasite, helping the parasites on the top, being owed shit because you're so special, and any healthy self-confidence from actually doing things is replaced by just being malicious evil, right? That's what fascism is in a nutshell. It's where that you tell a poor loser, because they're the easiest to trick, that you're so special, and this powerful elite sees that in you, and you scapegoat someone, accuse them of doing secret harms, and instead of like having your self-confidence be based in what you really do, it's based in just being an antisocial, destructive piece of shit. Because if you can attack this bad thing, then you must be good. It's like this really, really sick cult that, surprised to know, in the capital elites kind of invented when they were afraid after the stock market crash they might be usurped. I made a video a few days ago how I'm pretty sure they were behind the fascist revolution. They actually wanted it to happen in Germany because they want an excuse to conquer it and steal their tech people. I believe that. You can't fucking tell me no. You can't tell me that they could arrange to give us a FDR, but they couldn't do it for Germany. Come on now. And then if you don't believe me, look at what happened after the war, bro. Those tech people didn't go to prison. They came to work for us. Look at do some research on the state of where America was in the tech race prior to World War II. Germany was like, we want to control them and steal their people. And we see the same strategy being done today in Palestine. They create and uplift the oppressors. They deprive the people of any other options. And then they turn around and say, because of this oppressor, we're going to kill you. It's the same thing. It's you control a state that's vulnerable by putting shitbags in power, and then you turn around and tell the rest of the world we have to kill you because of the shitbags. That's the same fucking strike. You can't tell me that wasn't, they didn't do that on purpose. I know they did. Anyway, I'm making this video because I don't want you to get confused. Simply declaring that you have religion does not mean your real religion isn't parasitism. Much in the way somebody on the down low could say they're straight, but it doesn't mean they're actually straight, right? Like, there are plenty of people in the closet, but it doesn't mean they actually are who they say they are. And in a similar way, you can think you're a Christian. You can say every day, I believe in Jesus Christ and wear a cross. But ultimately, if your value set is that of a harmful parasitic exploiter, like a MAGA Nazi, or whatever these pieces of shit that live across the street putting crosses on their houses, you are not really a Christian. If you actually practice Christian values, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, right? So, like, the easiest example that's the most famous is the American Christian Nazi, right? They profess to believe Jesus' teachings, they profess to be devout, they profess to be a Christian. But you look at their actual values, and they are actually, their real faith is parasitism. They believe in getting rich at any cost. They believe in not helping the poor. They believe in blame and abuse of vulnerable people. They believe in aligning with the richest people because they're like them. You look at the actual teachings of Christianity, what Christianity is really about, and it has none of these values. Christianity is famously the religion of the slaves. Jesus famously tried to create equality between people, feeding the hungry, helping the sick, not judging anyone. The polar opposite of what Christian Nazis are is a Christian. They wear the mantle of Christian almost as a fascist costume, like it's something that designates themselves as superior and above, and offers more of a parasitic cult delusion, substantiating why they deserve shit and you don't, right? Same with these Coptics here who are raping me, right? Like they superficially think they're Christian. They put Orthodox crosses on their shit, but then you look what they're doing. They're cavorting with rapists, with murderers. They don't have any Christian values. They don't help anybody. They don't help the weak. They don't help the sick. They do anything to get money, right? So don't get it confused. I'm not saying like a more Christian identity would fix this. I'm saying it's completely possible to say you have a faith when you don't, just like it's possible to say you're straight when you're gay. And the real thing they're afraid of is not people saying they're Christian, because there's plenty of those. It's actually truly having values programmed from a spirituality that they can't control. If you believe in something other than a wad of cash shoved in your mouth, they're scared of you. They don't want you around, right? And everything in society is done to try to eliminate anything that would be a threat, where you actually believe in more to this life than money and power. And that's exactly why Christian Nazis are some of the biggest helpers of the cult of parasitism, right? Because even though they claim to be Christians, they actually have zero Christian values. They're wearing the costume of Christian as another parasite identifier why they deserve shit, right? Like it's because I'm in this group. Like I'm so oppressed because of this group. Like Christians have been oppressed in this country. We're losing faith. They're using their Christian identity as an excuse to be a parasite, right? Not as a set of teachings that would make them resistant to this, right? So you have to be real, like it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. Right? They want you focusing on words because words can be lies, right? They want you killing someone over words or loving someone over words. They don't want you really caring what's really, really done. And that's why you have to ignore words and look at what the person is and who they are, right? So if you live like a total parasite and you are a callous, sadistic monster who tramples the weak with no compassion, you are not a Christian. You are using your this fake Christian identity you have as an excuse why you're so oppressed and you need to be in a little group of parasites taking shit and oppressing other people. To you, Christian is like Aryan in Germany, meaning it's this label that substantiates your oppression and your unique specialness and why you deserve to live off other people and make them suffer. That's what that is to you. It's not a set of teachings, right? In the same way these people use race, the ones in the Google cult, right? They don't care about any real dynamics of oppression. They use race like Aryan or Christian or Jew. Like they're just arbitrary labels that substantiate why I should be able to be a parasite, why I should be able to live off of suffering, why I deserve to be with the elites and get justice. Because that's how a lot of these Christians are using the label of Christian as a form of Aryan in Germany, an oppressed class that has it so hard, and that's why we should be able to trample the weak and take and live off them, right? The same thing we see this in Google cult for me, where they're not really focused on the real oppressions of minorities and the real oppressors. They're just using these words and labels like, and that's why I get to be the oppressor and do whatever I want and get shit, and I deserve it. You know, you don't because we are the secret evil. You could see the same thing with the MAGA Nazis. They'll focus on their favorite victim are women who get abortions and gay people, and they'll torture out secret evils they're really doing. They'll substantiate how they're a harm and they're oppressed and their way of life is oppressed. The point I'm making is simply saying you're a Christian does not mean you're a Christian any more than saying you're straight doesn't make you straight, right? And for a lot of these motherfuckers, they use the label, their religious label, as a form of an oppressed group that substantiates why they have to crush people now. And is related to their villains, the secret harm that's harming them they have to get with the elite, right? It's the same thing with these people in Google cult. They don't care about real minority oppression. They don't care about the real things going on. They're helping the people doing that. They're using these labels as excuses for an ultimately fascist psychology, where they get to live as parasites, they deserve it, they're so special, and the secret evil, so secret you can't see it, have to pay, right? I want to make this clear. It's not about people identifying as a religion, but actually in their soul believing it and having a set of values from it. There are plenty of people calling what they are as religious, but they're actually in a fascist parasite cult, right? And that's why, that's why they want to get rid of religion, because religion's a great gateway to actually have real values other than money. And then they can't control you so well. They're as scared of that as a king in a feudal system scared of you not being religious, because religious faith would substantiate the king's power, right? And they're also scared of anybody, faith or not, people like me, where I don't care about money. You can't make me do evil things with money. You just can't, right? And so at the end of the day, they're just scared of anyone with morals and ethics, right? They don't want them in society. But the issue they have with religion is religion's a great gateway to having morals other than money. You look at the people in history who took risks that sacrificed themselves, like my ancestors, conscientious objectors to slavery, or in Italy, it was Catholics who sabotaged Mussolini. And they put their foot down when he was partnering with Hitler in the Holocaust. This is fucking historic fact, right? You look in history, everybody who took stands because they believed in more to this life, they were motivated by religious faith, right? I'm not saying you need religious faith to be like that, because I'm an agnostic atheist and I'm one of those types, right? Possibly because my ancestors are super Christian religious, and so like there's this genetic selection where decent people um don't need religion anymore because it's now so intrinsic to my make of how my mind works to do the right thing. But the jumping off point was religion, right? Whether you're an ethical, moral atheist where you have standards and you won't do things for money, or you truly believe the word and the teachings, and you'll take those risks to die, like someone like John Brown. He wanted to die. Like, he completely believed in heaven. He completely believed in God. He believed in all Jesus' teachings. And he was willing to fucking die to stop these people because he knew his worldview and his value set. Money and power mean nothing. I have to stop this evil. It was the same in Italy with Mussolini. They fucking are the reason he went down. And it's not just a Christian thing. You see the same thing with Buddhists. They're known to sabotage and sacrifice themselves. They don't want anyone like that because you can't be controlled with money, you are a threat. If you have a value or a religious belief other than money, you're a threat, right? And honestly, I think they uplift these Christian Nazis because that helps destroy Christianity passively. If you see all these people acting like fascist parasites, but they're calling themselves Christian, 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 you're passively erasing what Christianity is. And they do the same thing with the word liberal, right? They've been making our country illiberal, uplifting stories of groupthink illiberalism while calling it liberal, right? Sometimes the easiest way to kill and control something is to just passively disappear by changing what the meaning of the word is, so you lose what real meaning was. And Christian Nazis very much help that, right? Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. It's not about saying you're religious. It's not about wearing a religious costume. It's about actually believing in shit other than money. They're scared of that just as much as a king's scared of you not believing in religion, right? It's not because they hear it's wrong or anything, any of this shit, but they control through money. They control through bribes. So if you are immune to that and you have values and care about things other than money, you become a threat. And that's why they made all these people atheist Satanists. And they filled their little religious brain with a new religion of sociopathy seeking money being the highest virtue. And for the rest of you at the bottom, fascist cults. I don't think the answer is religion, but I do think attacking religion allows this to happen, for sure.